Everyone is familiar with The Sims. Starting as a satirical game mocking consumerism in the modern world, the irony is immense, The Sims franchise has grown into an empire. From raising families, starting careers, and even getting probed by aliens, there's little you can't do in The Sims. In such a vast world, it seems like the only natural step is to play with friends. I still remember going over to my friend's house to play The Sims where he made Sim versions of the Beatles of all things. John and Paul fell in love and adopted a baby. It was a beautiful moment. Playing with friends was a beautiful way to enhance the game we loved, and at one point, the Sims developers had the same thought. What if we could go beyond two friends huddled around a PC? What if they brought the Sims to a world that had never before been reached? The World Wide Web. Introducing the famed Sims Online. What's that? You've never heard of it? There was a big party and everything, and anyone who was anyone was photographed holding the titular game. Still never heard of it. Well, neither had I until surprisingly recently. The Sims Online launched in December of 2002 at a time when having the internet at home was still a growing market, with a subscription costing $10 a month. Players would start by creating their own sim and selecting a city. They could interact with online players through a series of chat bubbles and emotes. Certain emotes had to be accepted by both parties before they would animate, and players could ignore unwanted players, block their text, or even ban them from the lot if deemed necessary. Immediately, the flaws were recognizable. Sims had no needs meters, the whole point of the original game, and it focused on grinding endlessly for money rather than interacting with friends. It was described as best a chat room. Even worse, the game was being used for harassment, creating online mafias where teams of players would gang together and threaten to report a player if simoleons were not given, and in some cases cybersex, even going so far as to host online brothels where sex was exchanged for simoleons, not the intention of the game's developers. Or maybe it was, I don't know their kinks. The player base never took off, peaking at a measly 100,000 players in 2003, which in comparison to its MMO competitors was, as they say, piss poor. World of Warcraft sold over double that amount within just the first 24 hours. Yikes. Needless to say, the Sims franchise was grasping at straws to make the game worthwhile, even rebranding in 2007 to EA Land. It didn't even last a year. In August of 2008, the game shut down permanently, closing its doors on a lackluster attempt at taking over the online world. And so ended the legacy of an era, where instead of sitting huddled with a friend at a shared PC, you could briefly take to the online world to live the simulation of your dreams. If you could avoid the mafias and the brothels, that was. Overall, the game was named a flop, but not without first leaving its mark upon history, even if its most memorable moment was the party that launched it in the first place.